Hey everybody, it's Brian back with the VIP Soundcheck, and I'm honored to have my good buddy Sean Green from Behold the Beloved. And Sean, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh man, thanks for having me. It's good to see you again. Good that we
Absolutely, man.
get a
It's
chance to
been,
talk to you. It's been a while. It's been a while.
I was going to say, it's been what? The last time we saw was at the Church and Transfer PA, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep. I mean, so it's not too far. Normally it was like every time we see each other it's KCF and maybe randomly somewhere else. But yeah, it's been a while, but not as wild as we're used to.
Exactly. And normally we're talking, with you and with the whole band, we're talking about what you guys are doing with Behold the Beloved. And I'll let everybody know that we're going to have another interview coming up where we're going to talk about the new album that's coming out. But today I kind of wanted to talk with you about something a little bit different that you're doing that I think is pretty cool, and it's Eternal Echoes.
Mhm.
Kind of walk me through what Eternal Echoes is and how it came to be.
Yeah, so Eternal Echoes is our promotional label that me and my wife, which is our band manager for Behold the Beloved, she's also, oh my goodness, she's like a jack of all trades. Jackie, I guess, because she's she's a jack of all
Not
trades.
not a band mom though, I learned that.
She's she's not a band mom. No, yeah, I mean, she runs merch table. She's our manager, and then she does My Beloved, our women's ministry. So she has her hand in a lot of things. And we started Eternal Echoes as a promotional label, just because we both, more so her on this end, kept getting messages and emails from new breed of bands, up and coming bands, bands who are like kind of been in a couple years but don't know how to take the next step in certain areas, and just asking her like, hey, where do you get this contact, where do you do this? I would also get messages from tons of bands and just be like, how do you do this, what do you do here? And I'm like flattered and honored to get those, even though we're still like on the rise, but we've been around for a while. And so, and I don't mind answering those questions at all, but it started to get to a point where like we still have to book our own shows, do our own thing, and it was taking a lot of time to do. Um, and so we started praying about it, and we're like, well, what? I feel like God's doing something. And we ran through something like this when we started My Beloved, where we felt like a lot of women were coming to the table, getting to know Kelly, and just there was a need there for a group just where women can grow together. And Kelly had a heart for that. And so we started getting that same feeling here. Like, man, I have a heart, and I have a heart, and Kelly, alongside me being with my wife, she has a heart for it as well. For young bands to really rise and be very go get them productive in this business of music. But a lot of them don't know the avenues to go through, and the avenues they think they need to go through right away are expensive. So we just try to think of different ways that we can put a promotional label to bring younger bands or bands who are trying to take next steps, and try to guide them using the tools that we have as a band through the 10 years, places that we went to get from where we used to be to where we are today, and just walk alongside them and help them through different things and giving them tools and giving them connections with connections that we worked hard to get ourselves to kind of bridge that gap. Because if our genre, man, if our genre explodes and our genre does great, that helps all of us.
Sure.
So why not like feed into those up and coming bands, those bands who really want to do well? Why not feed into them and allow them to help us make this genre great? You know what I mean?
That's awesome. And I love how you guys, you kind of look at it as you're bringing in other bands as part of the family. And that's
Mhm.
very similar. Like you had mentioned, we go to Kingdom Come Festival, and that's how I always felt about it there. So, was that kind of the mindset of, hey, we want to bring these bands along, not necessarily to help us from a business standpoint, well, that's probably a small part of it,
Mhm.
but more of like a family atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Like almost like a big brother kind of thing. We wanted to walk alongside them and help them grow and get to the next level, because like listen, like we are in the business of ministry. I always believe, say what you want, I am a full firm believer of Christian rock is the staple of ministry when it comes to music. Worship music, yeah, it's definitely glorifying to God, and there's artists out there who do an incredible job, but our genre meets the need of people who maybe not know who Jesus is, don't go
Mhm.
to church, but the sound is intriguing. And when they get hooked with the sound, then they're hearing the words, the words of truth and just the biblical truth, and God is piercing their hearts just through our lyrics. if we have more bands doing that and more bands out there doing it well and being popular and more people who don't know who Christ is coming to see these rock bands or see these bands and hearing this, then you have more of an opportunity to expand the realm of how many people can hear about Christ through Christian rock. So yeah, there is the business standpoint, and we all want this business to boom because I would love for us not to struggle for gas. But
Exactly.
that's like the side thing. But like the main thing is like, man, if I'm doing this, I want Christian rock to be big, and I want
Yeah.
every band to succeed. Because if we succeed, then our popularity will just expand. And when popularity expands, our sound expands, good quality sound with biblical, true meaning lyrics, like bands who are really ministry minded, then we can touch so many more people so much quicker and tell them about Christ, or those who are struggling in their faith, just to take the next level and be like, you know what, I'm done turning away from God and I'm ready to go full force at him. So there's so many layers to it, but we just wanted to create this in helping these bands not think they have to spend 30, 40, $50,000 to be a great band. Like it literally is just, it's a step-by-step thing, learning the right formula. And I feel like as a band, we've been blessed to say no to certain things that would have cost us money,
Sure.
a lot of money that we really didn't need. And I feel like we prayed a lot about every decision and leaned what God had for us. And we could have signed with the label right away. And we did, and we chose to take different steps, and we made new connections. And so we're getting merch from places that nobody else is getting merch. We've take steps to meet people that nobody else has taken. So we're trying to implement that, my knowledge in that, into these other bands and be like, hey, if you just do this, you are saving so much money, so much hassle, and doing it the right way, and just walking alongside them. That's a mouthful. But yeah, it's I'm really when I get excited about something, I will ramble. So I'm sorry if I'm rambling,
Oh no,
but
hey, that's
it
great.
starting this process and starting this a year ago, it's yeah, it's been fun. It's been a blessing. I mean, we have met so many new bands, and not all of them have come along into Eternal Echoes yet, but there is plans for them. Our goal with it is we actually don't want bands on our promotional label for more than maybe 2 years. Like our goal is to equip and teach and then send away.
Okay.
I don't want bands on for year after year, paying us year after year just to be on. Like be on, pay for the time, and let us teach you and help you grow, and then fly away. Yeah,
That's
kind of thing.
fantastic. Now I know actually how I initially found out about it was through Katie Slater. And it was
Hmm.
funny because I was interviewing Katie and it was the same day that you had brought her on to
Hmm.
Eternal Echoes. So she was all excited and it was cool. And I was like, that's a great hire because first of all, she's one of the best photographers I've ever seen. She's extremely talented. And
Yeah.
she's just one of those people that, you know, you meet her, you like her. And I
Hmm.
think she's kind of a great representative of what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. Katie is incredible. She really is incredible. I like personally view her as the top in our industry in photography.
Hmm.
Her style of editing is different than others. There are incredible photographers out there in our genre. Don't get me wrong, Jeanette and Chad, all of them are great. They have great photos. They're really high def. But Katie brings like an element to where like her editing, you can feel the emotion, the intensity of that moment.
Yeah.
And she's helped us for many years supplying photos of us on stage that we use. Like us as bands, there's so many of these outside things that really people don't think about that feed into how a band is successful. Like
Hmm.
radio stations, they help us. They help us grow. Interviews like this, you guys get our word out to help us grow. Photographers get us great pictures that we put on our social medias and our website that make us look like we are doing, well, makes us look like we are doing it, but like, you know what I mean, just shows that we're not just
Yeah.
staying in our garage or in a backyard. Like we are in the grind doing it. You can see the hard work through those photos. And so she, for years, she just puts it on her Facebook, and she'll spend hours after a show. She'll drive forever, never taking any money, just showing up places, taking hundreds of, like literally thousands. KCF last year, the first night, she came back to her Airbnb with 4,000 plus photos. And she just started editing until like 3 in the morning. And because she wants to put it out,
Yeah.
and she doesn't ask for any money. And every band, she puts like 40, 50, 60 on the Facebook that they can just grab for free, which is a blessing. And we did that for a year. And then we said, you know what? You need to start getting paid. Like, we appreciate you. And if we as bands are asking to go places to sacrifice time and work hard, and we're asking for compensation, you need to be doing the same. And so we started before Eternal Echoes, we started paying to bring her on the road with us. We started paying her every time she shot our sets, we would pay her. And so me and my wife had the discussion once we made Eternal Echoes, be like, let's bring you on. Let's bring you on. And she was like our first before we assigned the band. She was like kind of our test run. So we're like, listen, no payment. We want you part of the team. So let's put you on the team, and then let's help change the culture of photography, like in this genre. Like, change a culture that so every band doesn't just expect when a photographer's there, they're going to get free photos. Like, let's support you in this because she travels.
Yeah.
She just drove 6 to 8 hours last weekend
Yeah.
just to shoot a show. So yeah, that's what we're kind of implementing with her a little bit now, especially with KCF coming up. Like, we're trying to get bands to be like, okay, if I want these great pictures and I want to own them, I need to support her in this as much as she supported me. So
Yeah, and that's fair. That's mutually beneficial.
yeah, she's great for our team. Like, for real, I'm extremely excited for her because yeah, she is one of the best. So I couldn't believe that, like, yeah, we're doing this with one of the best in my eyes. And she's way too humble, by the way. She's so humble. She's like, I'm not that good. I mean, I know I'm a gifted and I'm good, but I'm not like this person, this person. I was like, that is what your thought is. But coming from me, wanting pictures that are a little more rock and have emotion, your
Hmm.
pictures are top of the line. So, and other people see that. And so, more people speak into her life like that and support her in these financial ways. Um, I think the better the photos will get because the more belief she'll have in herself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that confidence will skyrocket. And she's the best term I could use is action shots. I mean,
Yes.
I'm thinking of particularly shots that she's taken of you and the guys. It's like, okay, that gives someone who hasn't seen you live a little taste of what that's like. Like a
Yeah.
little bit of that power and that fun comes through the picture. And that's going to want to drive people more to come see bands like you guys live.
Mhm. Absolutely. I mean, and the word intensity, that's what it is. You feel the intensity in her photos.
Yeah.
And a lot of big bands use her photos. I mean, Skillet has used her photos, repost her photos, huge bands. And so, like, I want those bands, when they use her photos, to always remember her name and to recognize that, and for her to just go further. And that's our goal. So when it comes to Katie, I know Eternal Echoes is mostly based for bands, but I'm was so excited to put a photographer on and really be like, you know what? Our goal, we don't have any like alleyways really for you like we're doing with bands, but we're gonna learn how to just promotion in general. We're gonna promote you, we're gonna try to push you, and we want to see you succeed more. And so that's what we're doing with Katie on the label. And yeah, and she'll help us here and there and do some shows and whatnot. But uh yeah, she's great to have on the team.
That's fantastic. And without giving away, the secret sauce, what are some of the services that you guys offer
Oh,
younger or up and coming bands?
the secret sauce.
God, I don't want you giving it away for
No,
free.
no, 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 no. Um, yeah, so basically we're trying to, so we're not like a regular label. Like, we're not here to give you a large chunk of cash so then you can go make a great record and do all that. That's not the kind of label we are. We're literally geared to helping you grow and promoting and acting as, we have a service of like acting as a management kind of style. For example, our first band that we signed would be from Ravens to Doves. And what we've done with them is we I love creating content. I create content for all of the whole Beloved stuff, reels, pictures, videos, everything, video wall stuff. I love that kind of stuff. So um, I'll outsource myself by I'll help create video content for social medias, maybe lyric videos and kind of help navigate to where like what is a good way to post so your algorithm stays heavy when like different kind of secret sauce stuff. But Kelly will act as like a sort of manager. So Eternal Echoes is a sort of managerial. Man, that's not even a word.
Managerial.
That's meant what? She acts as a manager. All right.
She does stuff.
Yeah. So she does stuff. Um, so like yeah, so we have that EE artist booking. So anytime somebody wants to reach out to the band or book to the band, it'll go through EE artist booking, which comes to us, and we'll take care of all like the heavy lifting stuff, like giving them information, getting the information, we'll take it to the band. And we will then also reach out to certain festivals, be like, hey, we have this band. So we're not booking one-off shows, but when it comes to festivals, we will definitely bring them up and let them know. So it's getting their name out, and really excited because we told Ravens that this is our first year doing this, and because they're brand new, their chance of getting into a festival in this year is probably like zero.
Sure.
But we already have two possibly lined up for them. So that's like really awesome. I'm excited for that. But that's besides the point. So yeah, basically just promoting them. Also, just putting stuff on our Facebook. We're trying to grow our Facebook and Instagram, promoting them, that letting people know who these people are, who this band is, content, and then other services are would be like giving them key um, tools, as in like connections that we have, recording studios, where to go to maybe apply for the charts. Um, where to go for merch, where to go to get designs for your art, where to get your designs for merch, all those kind of things, to where some bands just don't know the best place to go. When we were a band, we went to Custom Ink. Bad idea. Like that's not where you go. That's where you go to pay the most money. You can't get bulk orders there. Um, so just connections that we have, we will then like supply. And it's just the small little detail things, learning how to go from A to B to B to C to C to D. And we just provide all of that. But our main goal is to one, let people know who this new band is, like showing them off, building the foundation of fans as well as foundation of new connections. And then sprouting out to all the other things to prepare them for live, as well as recording and where to go, all those things at an affordable cost for a brand new band or an up and coming band. Not like a here, if you go to Nashville, there's a great producer named Josiah. You should go to him right away. And I can say that because I've already had talked with Josiah about this, and he actually loves the way that Eternal Echoes going. He's sending bands like our way. Um, he is definitely a goal that we will then try to help bands reach to. But
Gotcha.
right off the bat, when you don't have a firm, solid base of fans that you can release content to, you don't want to just make a record and release it to 5 people. You want to build that fan, you want to build these things, then go to the record, let your fans hear it, then move on to the next one and maybe build up money to then go try one song with Josiah. You know what I mean? It's steps, and trying to teach that to bands, not just like you want to make it in this business, get the best of the best right away and
Yeah.
spend all your money on it. It's like that's not the smartest way to do it. So yeah. These addictions got deep like a night. These addictions try to claim my life, but they can't satisfy. And these addictions try to drag me down. These addictions try to make me drown. And right now I am bound. Right now I am bound. I think I named most of the services. I do personal services as well. It's like, and you get like discount. Like I'll help be in the studio if needed. I'll help co-write. I'll help maybe feature or whatever. Help with melodies. So different stuff when it comes to recording side. There's a lot of different alleyways that we provide, but it's mainly promoting and helping like management stuff. I'm not even going to try to say
You
the
help her
word.
do stuff.
Yeah. Kelly basically helped with like how do we explain to people who we are, because she's like the more smart wording person than I am. So like yeah, so artist management, development, marketing and promotional content, networking and industry connections. So people that we've met throughout the years, just connecting them and getting them connected with these new other people, and then creative resources and support. So
Awesome.
contents, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, do you feel any kind of like additional pressure? I mean, so now you're going from not just Behold the Beloved, but do you feel maybe pressure is not the right word, but maybe like a sense of responsibility towards these bands that you're bringing on?
Yeah, there is a form of responsibility just because um I want to because we do have like a price point on these because I'm taking literally I have I'm a husband, I'm a dad, I'm a lead singer for a band who we're striving every year, every day to grow more and more. And then with all of that, like when I'm home and my kid goes to bed, I spend from Monday through Friday, maybe an extra 2 or 3 hours in this office editing videos, getting stuff ready to put on social media, all that kind of stuff. It's like two full-time jobs, and it's because I have my other full-time job. So to do all of that, actually, my guitar player Flynn said, well, Flynn, I call him Flynn, Jeff says, "Do you have enough time to do this?" And
Like
so yeah,
somehow, yeah.
yeah, I somehow do, and I do have a responsibility because there is a price point. So I
Mhm.
want to make sure that I am still giving everything I have to these bands because they are paying us to do these things. That's why I'm so glad that we prayed about it first, and I had make sure that Kelly is in on it too, so she can when I'm not like at the desk working on content, she is still working on some sort of promotional side for these bands. So there's two people kind of doing things, but also before a band comes on, like we tell them right up front, like this is like there has to be some grace knowing like where I am at and
Mhm.
that I will still work 100% to help them out and give resources and everything. But um, at the end of the day, like, what was I going to say? How can I say it? Like, we let them know at the beginning that mm, I lost it. Oh man, all right. Um, man,
We
I
need to
had
call
it.
Kelly and be like, interpret Sean's
Yeah, can you
brain here.
interpret this for me? Like, freak. Like they know, yeah, they know that I'm going to be busy, but because there's a price point, I do everything I can for them, giving them everything at a timely manner, helping them the best that I can. And it kind of takes the pressure off because they know what's going on. But at the end of the day, it's not like things I have to spend every day on.
Sure.
Um, it's just making sure that I'm here for them. I meet the needs that I'm promising them. And at the end of the day, like literally, what I tell them is this is no guarantee. There's no guarantee at the end of this year you're going to be booming.
Right.
Like it literally, it took us, right? It took us like 5, 6 years for us to start going. Um, Now it might be, maybe it's easier now for bands. So, but it's our goal is just basically helping them take the steps to know where to go and building the foundation. So they know there's no guarantee that going with us, they're going to blow up next year. But I can always promise them that they'll learn new things, that they'll make new connections, and they'll go different routes that will save them a lot of money. That down the road, when it comes 6, 7, 8 years down the road, they have built great relationships and connections that they are now making a bigger profit because of the alleyways that we're kind of directing them to. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's a lot of pressure, but I do want it to be great, and I do want again bands to succeed. I
Awesome.
didn't get the whole thought that I wanted across. It's still floating in my head, but whatever. It
It'll come
doesn't
to you. It's all good. No,
matter.
that was great. I appreciate that, and it's cool. And like you mentioned that, you said it might be easier for bands now, and because there are a million resources, but the
Hmm.
downside is there's a million resources.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's where you guys come in, like helping to wade through. Okay, stay away from this.
Yeah.
That's probably just as important as go to this.
Yeah, we've come across a couple bands who we talked with, and then I just figured out what I was going to say earlier. I'll get to that. No, I'll say it now so I don't forget. When we sign bands, we make sure we don't just sign them right away. So like we sign when it makes sense to start helping them. So that's what takes
Nice.
the pressure off. Because with Raisins Doves, we were talking about signing way back last year in like September. But I told them to wait because they're actually going into back in the studio to finish the record in June, to wait till we signed them last month. So then they're not paying for 6 months of me not having anything to help them with. We start them on the label right when they're starting rolling with things. So then we can help them and they get the max amount of their time. So that took a lot of pressure off because we're not in it just to make money. We're barely making like we're not getting rich off this thing, but I want to make
Sure.
sure it makes sense to start bands at certain times. Back to you. No, I'm just kidding. No, we've worked with we talked to other bands before. Back to your other question, where after talking to them, maybe a month or so down the road, we see that they sign with certain agencies that like uh will it's almost like a
Mhm.
promoter to when they do shows help route their shows or to help get into certain places, which that's cool, but you're now paying this person, or you're paying them, plus they take a percentage of your commission when you get shows, but they have 100 other huge bands that they're also doing this for. So you're just in the herd of cows,
Yeah.
and like you still have to book your own shows. They don't go out to find shows for you. What they do is after you find the show, they'll help get the information. So it's like bands think that if they just sign to something, it makes them more important or it makes them look better or it's going to help them. It's not really that case. But yeah, when there's a million resources out there, anytime a resource comes to you, you're like, savior. Like,
Exactly. Now, is it fair to say that in addition to, what you guys have learned and what has worked for you as Behold the Beloved, is it just as important as, and maybe this isn't the right word, but mistakes that you've made along the way that you can then help other bands to learn from?
yeah, I don't want to sound cocky, but we have been very lucky not to make a lot of those mistakes. And I
Okay.
think it's because I would say the only mistake I could see us making was when we started doing merch, is because we just went with the first thing, and that was custom ink. But that's because we didn't have resources and we didn't have the connections that we have now. Um, but like every time it came to any decision, any big decision, there was a lot of prayer involved and like, does this make sense? We never approach anything like, how can we get to the next level as quick as possible? And I think because we went into it that way, like we had more of clarity from God of what directions to take. When a label that we've never heard of or we have heard of, but it's just like, I wonder how they heard of us or why they're reaching out, would reach out for us to sign. We talk about it, we pray about it, and be like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
why? It doesn't make sense. And our main focus at the very beginning was like, we need to grow our fan base more. We need more people to know who we are. Before we try to go do bigger shows and go do all this, it doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
because we can sign big shows, but then once we get to that venue, what happens when 12 people walk in who know who we are? Then we'll
Exactly.
never be at that venue again. So yeah, I think because of how diligent we were, and yeah, it took longer, but look at us now. In the past 3 years, our lives have changed exponentially.
Oh, you guys have
Our
been
shows
killing
have
it.
been, thank you, I appreciate that. It's been mind blowing. So
Hmm.
we went through maybe 5 years of like, what are we doing? And maybe a little bit of discouragement to now the past 3 years is like, what is going on? Like, how is this happening?
And it's been exciting to watch. I mean, I've known you guys now for probably a good 5, 6 years,
Yeah.
and been blessed to become friends with you guys, and I'm so proud to see all the hard work that you guys have put in is coming to fruition, and I mean it. I mean, you guys have been
Mhm.
growing and killing it, and every time I see you, you're higher up on the bill. And there's more and more people, and it's like, I'm seeing people walk around with "Behold the Beloved" t-shirts. I'm like, that is awesome, and it's like you said, it's kind of that slow and steady and keep building the right way. It's
hmm
been working for you guys.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. We definitely see it. Not striving for the mountaintop as quick as possible, as fast as possible, but literally, I mean, the analogy you can make of, I'm literally going off the top of my head, so we can either plot at the end of this or we can put like a wah 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 at the end. But like an analogy that just came to my mind as we're talking about this is, you can run as fast as you can to a mountaintop, but you could take that wrong part of the hill and you can get to the top as quick as possible. You're gonna be gassed out. You won't be able to do anything.
Yep.
Or you can map out the correct way and get up there with so much energy that you will thrive. I think that was pretty good.
That was good. I like that. That's some
So,
deep
and
stuff right there. I
I
like
think
that.
I think that's what we're doing. I think we're taking the right roads, and I think half of it is obviously like, we're trying to do everything smart, and we talk about things, and we pray about things, and the other half is like literally leaning on God's hand to
Yeah.
guide us to the right ways, and just going by those two things, working hard, not just expecting God to hand things to us because we're
Yep.
faithful in our lyrics, and we're faithful in the ministry that we want to do, but literally leaning to in on Him to like, all right, make it happen, and we're going to work hard
Hmm.
to make sure we earn what you're giving us. We are definitely every year is there's it's something, and it goes to the next level. And we're like, all right, let's let's keep it going.
It's very much in line with the parable of the talents. You know, Christ gave each of you guys an amazing talent, and you keep working and keep perfecting, keep refining it, so you can bring it back tenfold,
Yeah.
hundredfold to Him,
Hmm.
and that's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was a good one. I like that one too.
Thanks. Just kidding. So, can you say how many bands do you have now that you guys are working with?
So currently we have just from Ravens Dub signed onto the label. Um, we have reached out to multiple other bands. We've had Zoom calls with probably 6 to 7 other bands,
Okay,
and talked with them. And at least I would say at least 4 or 5 are interested. For when it, and in our talks with them, it's all about when is the best time to start.
sure.
That makes sense. So you maximize your profit and all these other things. Some bands, we do a Zoom call and they get to hear about everything. And they're like, it's not for me at this time. Totally fine.
Yeah.
Like we said when we first made a post about doing Eternal Echoes, if nobody signs, that's fine. That's completely great. I have more time to do other things, but we felt a calling and I didn't want to just sit on it. Just, I wanted to throw it out there and to see our peers like Josiah kind of even be like, oh, I think this is really cool. Like this is what's needed, and you're one of the best people to do this. Not because of how great I am as a musician, but just I think he knows my heart behind it, and he
Yeah.
knows my heart for people and wanting this. So, um, yeah, whether we sign the next those 4 or 5 bands or not, totally fine. But like, because we always go into a Zoom call, and I'll tell every band this, and everybody who watches is, I don't mind answering questions without being on the label. Ask me anything. Because I've had so many people, Josiah and so many other artists that are my peers that I would text now, and I would just be like, I have a question here, and they answer it. I want to be that to other people too. You have a question about something musically or whatever? Ask me. I will help if I can. When it comes into like the deeper things of like sharing connections that we've worked so hard to get and relationships so hard, it's almost like the thing if somebody comes to you and wants to come to your job and start working, just be like, hey, can you get me a job? You don't just forget about what you know about the person. Just be like, go tell your job and vouch for them. Like that's kind of the same thing here. So like, yeah, I want to make sure that we give everything we can to these bands, and we'll see. We'll see if more come down the road.
Awesome. Now, you guys, you and Kelly started this, you said about a year ago.
Hmm.
And whenever you're starting something new or you're kind of sticking your neck out there, there's probably always a little bit of fear of the unknown.
Hmm.
I know that well, recently moving to Nashville. It's you see the good, but there's always that, oh, what if I fail? What if I do this? How did you guys overcome that if you felt that?
Yeah, I think the fact that we're obviously not like putting out money, and like paying for records for that takes away a lot of that fear. Um, but I would say because of how stubborn me and Kelly are and how much we want to succeed in things that we set our mind to, there is still I mean, it's not a fear that holds us back, but personally for me, like I know, I mean, I just know I'm not going to get a band and win the first year they're going to be successful.
Yeah,
I mean, they might learn stuff, but like I said before, I don't see them blown up. And there's a little part of fear is it's like, but I want them to, but I don't. I want them to get like all these resources and for us to help them, and I want them to take the next step and be successful. But there's a possibility they won't, and it's all because. And we also tell these to the bands is like, we are doing this, but you still have to work hard,
right.
and you still have to do your part, and there might be those moments where the band just doesn't, and then it's a bummer. So that's like a little fear of it would be like letting people down, but we always put things in place and have those conversations before, but like so it kind of takes away that fear. Like we'll do the best we can do, but we can't guarantee anything.
So it's important to set realistic expectations, even for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I don't want
Very
to,
cool.
but I won't.
Now, Sean, where do you see this going? And I know that's probably kind of hard to forecast because you just started. But what is maybe your vision moving forward with this?
I'm hoping to make millions and I can retire from my civilian job and just do this full time.
Don't forget your buddies when you're making millions.
Um, I don't know. It's just a different animal. We obviously know every year we have a new goal for the band. So there's that. With My Beloved, our goal to answer this question would be like, we want hundreds of women to know about My Beloved and create a huge community and do all these things. With Eternal Echoes, it's like, I guess my end goal is that it just is a successful process. Like that within 2 years, every band who rolls through sees the fruits of their labor, sees that it was a fruitful process. They have taken next steps, they grow, and then they get sent off and they start doing great. They start getting on tours, they start making music, they start building fan bases, and then that word gets out that more bands want to do that. That's kind of what I hope for. Now, my fear then is we get so many
You get overwhelmed.
that
Yeah, I was
I
just
get
wondering
overwhelmed
that.
now. So, um, I don't know. I don't know. I hope the economy starts booming to where our prices go higher, and then I can hire somebody else that when I'm on the road, they're doing this, and this can become a multi-billion-dollar business. Yeah, we're right
Hey,
back
that's
there
one of
making
those that
millions.
might be a good problem to have kind of situations.
Yeah, there's no real end goal with this. I think it's literally one of those things. It's just something that's put in place, and do what you can. And if we have people on, great. I'm literally not striving to just build this story of hundred bands on the label. It's just like when we wanted to build something, put it in place and make sure it is actually a fruitful, helpful process. And
Nice.
we'll learn along the way. What could we have done better? What don't we really not need there? And every band will be different. But it's not put into place to like yeah, grow to become a money machine. It's not, I mean, maybe if God has that, they want to make it bigger to where then we can supply money for people to have record, like giving them, like maybe turning into a record label. I don't know what that looks like, but right now, this is what God has for it. And
Sure.
I'm kind of not trying to put any of my own plans into it
Yeah.
because I know God has my plans and other things. This is just something that we felt like God was saying, here's a need that's already coming to you. Here's here's a box that you can put that in and make this and just let everything funnel through that. And that's what Eternal Echoes is. We saw the need with all the texts, all the messages, asking all these questions, bombarding left and right. And we're like, we don't have the time to do all of this, plus our own thing. And God's just like, here's a need. And uh, I have chosen you. Maybe, I don't know. Here's an idea. And I'm like, okay, God, boom, put it in place. There's not like here's what we can do else. And it's like, nope, this is what it is. Plain as day, plain Jane. Like,
Love it. I love it because you're not putting limitations on what God could possibly do with this, and that's fantastic.
yeah.
Awesome. Now, Sean, if there's an artist that watches this and they're interested in finding out more about Eternal Echoes, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can message us on our Facebook page, Eternal Echoes, or you can email us at eeartistbooking@gmail.com. The EE is Eternal Echoes, but eeartistbooking at gmail.com. And yeah, even if you just want a Zoom call to learn more about it, we've done plenty of Zoom calls and haven't signed some of those artists. So like there's no pressure. If you just have questions, if you want to learn more about it, what it looks like, what the pricing looks like, um, that's what we're literally here for.
Awesome. So I'll be sure to put all that down there for you guys to so it's easy to access. And before we end, I got to ask you about this cool room, man. You got all the Power Rangers stuff. You got This is cool. What all do you have back here?
Yeah, so this is my office. Now, when we started our Patreon page with the band, I was in a smaller room, which is now my kid is in, and I am a big nostalgic nerd. Any toy that I grew up with, or something that reminds me of that, if I see it, let me get this out. I'll put this on. All right. So like if I see it, I have to have it. And yeah, it I actually like the other room better because I literally had my whole wall. It was like every inch was like plastered, so it looked like a cooler background. Now I'm in like a big legit room, so now I have gaps. So it's a
That just
work in
means you need to
progress.
buy more stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's a work in progress. But yeah, it's just I'm a 90s nerd. I grew up with Power Rangers. They were my heroes. Dragon Ball Z, um, like Ninja Turtles. I got stuff and on the sides. Okay, I went on this whatnot kick with Funko Pops. So like my whole ceiling in front of me and right beside me is tons of Funko Pops that remind me of like my favorite anime shows, TV shows. And then I have the records on the wall. And then if you come to our shows, you know that I'm known for wearing weird or different anime shoes at every show. And
Hmm.
so I have all my shoes aside and on the wall. It's just basically plastered of like things that make me happy and smile that remind me of like my childhood or things that I watched. So
That's awesome.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, like for real. Tell me who else has
See, there you go.
lamb chop playing along. You can't, man. Come on, get out
That
of
is cool. You
here.
should do one of those, like, you see like the game room videos on YouTube. You should do a video of this room of everything you got.
Yeah, I need to clean up a little bit. My
I got
floor,
you.
my floor has a couple things on it, but that's a good idea. Like, welcome to my crib. It's like, welcome to my office.
That's right. That's right.
Part one of six.
Well, Sean, this has been awesome as always. And again, guys, keep an eye out because we're going to have another video coming out in a couple weeks, and Sean and I are going to talk about the new album Go in Depth. But this this was really cool. This was something a little bit different, and it was fascinating to hear how this came about and what you guys are doing with it. So I want to
Thank
thank you so much for your time today, Sean.
No, thanks for putting a spotlight on this. I like literally we want more people to know about it. We want artists that are up and coming to know that there is somebody out there looking for it. We're literally in this genre together. It is a family. We're not in competition.
Yep,
It's not trying to beat the other person out. All right. We're all trying to be great together because it makes our genre great. And when our genre greats, we are all succeeding and more people can know who Jesus is. So never a
exactly.
competition. So the more ears and eyes that see this, I really appreciate that, buddy. And you have a lot of editing to do with my
I'm
vocabulary
just
and
gonna leave it
brain
all in
parts.
there.
Yeah, just do it. Go for it. Whatever.
And of course, the music is awesome. So
Appreciate it.
absolutely, brother. As always, it's been awesome talking with you. And I want to thank you guys for joining us. We love you all. God bless and rock on.